It's the Joe Salem Show with Minnesota Golden Gopher head coach Joe Salem and KSTP sportscaster Ed Cairo. The Joe Salem Show is brought to you by Midwest Federal, with offices to serve you throughout the metropolitan area. Midwest Federal, at the sign of the good tree to come to for shelter. Now, here's Ed Cairo.
Not happily to report, we'll have to say, 37-14 loss to Michigan yesterday at Memorial Stadium, and one of those kinds of losses that, let me just inject an idea here. Wouldn't it be better just to get whipped instead of what happened?
Really, Ed, our football team came out, and I really felt that we had an excellent week of practice. I felt that we were really ready to play. We had a great meeting last night with the football squad. And it came out, and I think early in the game we really played well. I mean, it's they score, of course, and go ahead 7-0. We come back, we got a fourth and a yard, and we go for it. We don't make it. They come back, kick a field goal. We go down and score. We come back, we're charging the gates again. And all of a sudden, the same old story that's, I guess, this could be a rerun from 3 weeks ago. But we throw pass. It's first and 10 on Michigan's 35. We're down 10-7, but really looking good and playing well. And we get called for clipping. And the next thing I know, we're offside. And the next thing I know, we got a punt. And pretty soon we get a face mask, and pretty soon they score, and then we got 2 fumbles. And before you know it, it's the biggest nightmare you've ever been associated with. And I think from a coaching standpoint, from a player standpoint, there isn't anyone more confused and more upset about the way it goes in that aspect. And the only thing I can say is, there are no excuses, there are no apologies, there are just things that, these are things that we have to improve on if we're going to be a good football team. There are things that we just have to do a better job of not committing the error. And it's almost like as soon as the first penalty happened, they said, here we go again. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, we did. And we collapsed and fell behind 23-7 at halftime, and of course couldn't come back. And it's really frustrating, I think, to all of us. But I think the thing is, as a coach, the thing that's more frustrating to me is that we have not improved in this area of not committing penalties and not committing fumbles and not committing grave errors. We have not improved from day one. Mm-hmm. We've said all along that, hey, we're getting better. We've improved. We're getting to be a better football team. We showed signs of doing this, but when it comes to time to make the critical error, we're still the same as we were back on October the 13th. And I think that's what bothers myself and our other coaches the most.
You hear the term mental error, and that may not be that term may be an error in the sense that nobody goes out there and doesn't think. And nobody goes out there and doesn't try and be conscious of these things, but they do just happen, don't they?
Well, they do, and again, the face mask penalty. We had one last week at a crucial time, and it's one that, I don't know how to coach about or how to coach against it, or how to say, don't grab the guy's face mask. You're coming up trying to make the tackle, you reach up, you got a blocker in front of you, you're trying to fight through him, and you reach up and you grab him, all of a sudden your hand hits the face mask, and there it is. It's a momentary thing, but it happens, and it's something that, I don't know how you coach about that, but it seems like all of a sudden when it starts to roll, we believe that it's going to keep going, and somewhere along the way, if we're going to win the rest of the season, we're going to win a game, we have got to lose that attitude that, hey, this thing, here we go again, one of those here we go again things. And, I guess we taped this show on Saturday night, and I don't feel very good today, but I'll tell you, tomorrow morning on Sunday, we'll be back at the office, and we'll get ready for those Iowa Hawkeyes like crazy and get after it as hard as we can, and hope that we kind of get this thing, get rid of the burden that we're carrying with us.
Okay, Joe, and maybe a post-mortem will help. We'll do that on yesterday's game right after this.
Autumn in Minnesota means football. As each Saturday rolls around, Golden Gopher football is a tradition in this great Midwest. We know that Coach Joe Salem and the entire staff are working hard each week to bring recognition to the University of Minnesota. We want to congratulate Athletic Director Paul Giel and all who are involved in bringing us the thrills of collegiate football. From all of us at Midwest Federal and the fans around this area, we want you to know that we support the Golden Gophers all the way. Good luck.
Introducing Red Devil Lifetime Caulk with silicone, the caulk that carries this warranty. If product cracks, peels, or separates at any time while you own your home, return cartridge for free replacement. Now you can protect your home against moisture damage and energy-robbing outside air and never have to buy caulk again. For years and years and years, for as long as you own your home.
By the end of the war, the European film industry had collapsed. Hollywood became the center of world film production. 90% of all pictures shown in foreign countries were American. The very streets of Hollywood became the most familiar in the world.
Sundays at 10:30 p.m. on Channel 5.
Jan and Dan would do anything to be rock stars.
Did you say anything?
Who are you?
My card, pretty lady.
Devil May Care Music Production.
Sunday at 3:30 p.m. on Channel 5.
All right, back with the Joe Salem Show. And Joe, let's take a look at those first half highlights, because the Gophers were doing some things pretty well at that point. Notwithstanding, Michigan was doing some things too, and I think we start with them.
Well, Michigan, of course, got some great athletes, and again, you see Butch Woolfolk on a 2nd and 8. He picks up 15 yards. He's got great speed. This is a 3rd and 9, and we had him at 3 different occasions on 3rd and long. And here's Wangler hitting their tight end Betts for 11 yards on a 3rd and 9. He gets 11, gets a first down, so they keep their drive alive. Here's a 3rd and 11. Again, Wangler back. He throws to Andre Carter, who is a great football player, as which we'll see later, some of the plays he makes. Again, another first down. And 1st and 10. Again, Wangler hitting Carter, makes a fine catch for another first down on our 30-yard line. 2nd and 1, you'll see Woolfolk. 29-yard touchdown run. And believe me, he got great speed. And he's in the end zone. And, you know, we did stand up and hit with him in the early part of the game up front, but we couldn't stop that passing attack. We get the ball back from our own 5. We got a clipping on the opening kickoff. Marion Barber picked up 8 yards. Here again is Marion for another first down. It's now 2nd and 10 on our own 32. Here you see Tim Salem on our fake pass, or play action pass. Hits Gary White in the flat. And Gary picked up 12 yards in the first down. Again, it's our ball, 3rd and 8. Again, Tim Salem hitting Gary White out in the flat to the left side. Gary, this is another 22-yard gain. 2nd and 16. Again, the same play action pass. Again, we hit White out here in the flat. Gary makes a fine run of it. Picks up 13 yards. Again, another first down. It's 1st and 10 now on the 16-yard line. Here's Marion Barber coming around the corner. Makes a good run, gets pulled out of bounds. It's now 1st and goal on the 2. Now you see Marion Barber going to score here on the handoff. He made the play. So that made the score 7-7 at this point. And there's the start of the 2nd quarter. Here again, Wrangler back to pass. He's got plenty of, well, he didn't have time that time. Fred Orgus and Brent Harms got to him and pulled him down. Here's a 2nd and 8 on the 40, on the Minnesota 42-yard line. Wrangler again, back to pass, again sacked. 3rd and 14. Now here's again a big play that you got to make if you're going to win games. Again, we give him a little bit of time. He throws the ball up high. He's got Anthony Carter out there again. Picks up 35 yards in the first down. Here's a 1st and 15. Again, Fonhorst tackles Woolfolk for a loss. Now on a 4th and 9. They kick a field goal. That makes the score 10, Michigan 10, Minnesota 7 at this point. And there's just 12 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. Rick Wittes makes a great interception right here. And now here's where our problems start. Again, we got a good Brent Harms again getting to Wangler and forces him to throw under pressure. And Rick really makes a fine catch here. He dove for the ball. They overthrew the receiver a little bit. He got it, held on to it. Now here we are, 1st and 10. And Marion Barber on a pitch, drops the football, and they recover. And here again, same the replay of it. Again, it's just a drop pitch, the same play we run every day. And Coles, their defensive tackle, was able to fall on it. And now, just before the half. Now this is, again, is Woolfolk will go in for the touchdown right here. They're able to score. So that made it 17-7. Again, Woolfolk on a fine run. First, again, he's got great speed on it as far as his abilities. Again, it's a pass to Carter again. Again, he's able to get out of bounds, gets him first down. Again, Wangler back. Gets Carter again. We had him pretty well covered, but he still made the catch. And again, they had to settle for another field goal. So with 23 seconds left in the half, they scored. Gary White makes the fumble right here on the 5-yard line. And believe me, this is tough to take right here. Again, you'll see a replay of it. We got our just an off-tackle play. Ball's in there, he drops it. They recover on the 5-yard line, so instead of going in 20-7 at halftime, we ended up, they get a field goal out of it. It makes the score 23-7 at halftime, which really, again, I think it was more of a damper than anything else. And instead of being 2 touchdowns down, now all of a sudden you're 3 touchdowns down. We made a fine goal line stand in the last 23 seconds. They were able to take advantage of the timeouts they had remaining and got the field goal just at the end of the half.
Well, Joe, I know it's got to be exasperating for you. You've said as much, but I think it's exasperating for everybody because you're seeing one fine play after another by the Gophers. I mean, you're stuffing their offense, you're moving the ball, and then all of a sudden something just falls on the ground and somebody else lands on it and takes it in.
Well, you know, it's part of football. I believe that in order to win football games, you got to make big plays, and there are times in a ball game, and I've said it I think before in this program. I've certainly said it to the squad many times that there are times in the ball game when you never know when it's going to come or when it's going to happen, but all of a sudden, hey, it's time to make the play. And for some reason, the other team always makes it, and for some reason, we never seem to make it. We come up 3rd down, and we're short 6 inches for the first, so we have to punt the football away. They come up 3rd and 14, and I'll be darned if they don't throw a pass for 15 yards and get their first down. It's been that kind of a year, but you know, again, it's not something that you can sit down and say, well, we got to quit making excuses for ourselves, and we got to quit saying, well, we're a young team, we don't have a lot of experience. These things happen. There comes a time when I think you got to look in the mirror and say, you know, it's time to do the job, and it's time to make the play, and it's time to get the thing over and done with. And let's look at it from a positive side, and let's start making these plays. So that's what we're really looking at, I think, as we go down the road for our next 5 ball games.
Joe, your second half was a little better, I think. Let's take a look at that now. You started to do some things again in the second half, and certainly their scoring wasn't as obvious.
Well, again, this is Edwards, I believe, running the football here. He picked up 11 yards. Now, they got hurt, both Woolfolk, and again, here's Andre Carter, and again, this shows his ability. He just runs by everybody. They took a little 5-yard pass and made 21 yards out of it. It's 3rd down and 9 here. Now, watch this catch. This is unbelievable. We got him covered, catch the ball. He just reached over and grabbed it, and all of a sudden we're looking at each other, and this is a replay of it, but what a great play by Anthony Carter right here. And I said before the game, he's the best receiver in the Big Ten. After the game, he might be. Look at that play. Look at that catch. And Rick Wittes is sitting there saying, "What happened?" So again, but again, that's what I'm talking about. You make those plays. We are in position defensively to make that play. We should knock the ball down. It shouldn't have happened. But he went over it and got it and did a better job than we did on it. Again, whoops. This is one of his few errors he had. We were able to get a fumble early in the 3rd quarter. Here we are, 4th and 4. We got a play-action pass, and we're down by their goal line. We're on the 15-yard line. And we got a blitz game on, and Burgee, with their strong safety, came with the blitz and was able to stop us. Here's their second-team quarterback. He fumbles the football. We're able to get it back again right away. Here's a 3rd and 5. Again, Tim Salem rolling out. He hits Marion Barber down over the middle, gets down to the 2-yard line. Again, we're in a double tight formation, and this is Marion Barber going over for the 6 points. Again, we're back to the Michigan offensive side. Again, there's Wangler back to pass. There's a pass. It's caught. We'll see Carter make this move on Dana Noel to realize how quick and fast he really is. That put the game certainly on ice, and that made the final score 37-14.
So, next week it's Iowa, which is something we'll get into in just a moment, Joe. And we'll be back in just a moment, too. A rather quiet locker room, but we did talk to some players after yesterday's game, and we'll give you some of those interviews right after this.
I'm Barkbuster, and I've split a lot of wood with an axe and with expensive hydraulic wood splitters. Now I use Barkbuster, the auger-type log splitter, a totally new concept in wood splitting that's really fast. Barkbuster comes in 3 models: tractor PTO, 5-horse portable, and the unique new auto drive, powered by the wheel of your car.
Fireside Corners, Corcoran Our Own Hardware, F&F Service, and Tuma Equipment.
I'll have Bruno show you around. Where is that guy? He's just here a second. Bruno! Bruno! It's all right, it's all right!
Sex life is a happy sex life, just like your teeth. Just watch, please. The secret is up and down.
I don't want to mug or go too broad with this thing?
Yeah, well, what's wrong with Anita Ekberg? At least she's, you know...
What's with the hands? You want an actress with arthritis?
Watch Second City Television Sundays at 11:30 p.m. on Channel 5.
For years, Americans have tried various ways to communicate with their government. The enormous size and complexity of big government often seems intimidating and impenetrable, but not to one organization. When we speak, government listens, and we get action on issues affecting all of us: elections, pollution, government, and poverty. Who are we? The men and women of the League of Women Voters. We want to hear your voice. Call and join.
In Minnesota, you can go to college at any place and any time in your adult life. Many people are discovering they can go to college. There are classes on nights and weekends. You can study at home, and your experience counts. College could help you find a better job, develop your ideas and skills, and just make you feel good.
Check out your options. It's working for me.
In the Twin Cities, call 297-3488.
Following the loss to Michigan yesterday, a very quiet locker room, but the players always courteous enough to talk to us, and they did. We talked with 4 of the players yesterday, and here's what they had to say.
I think it's real easy to get down on them. There might have been a series or 2 there where the offense might have been a little down because we made some bad mistakes at bad times, but you have to come out and play over them. And I know this team has a lot of character. And we came on the second half, and I felt we played a heck of a lot better than we did towards the end of the first half. So I feel real confident we're going to come out and start playing ball. We work too hard not to. We just keep working and keep going.
We done lost some tough ball games, and I guess it's just been because we've lost them ourselves. And, it has to hurt because, we go in, look at films on Sunday, and we see we're so close, and we just end up messing up, and there really is no explanation for it. It just happens, and I guess in order for us to be consistent at being good, because we do play good football, we're gonna have to learn to, overcome our mistakes.
Yeah, it's been the same story the first 6 games. They happen at the worst times, and I guess those are some of the things we can't control, but as a team, I think we have to try to better ourselves by not letting those things happen.
We got 5 games left in Iowa next week at home, and I'll just say this right now, we'll come out and get a lot better performance out of the whole team than we did today. Nobody was too happy with today, that's for sure.
All right, that's enough of that Michigan stuff. There were some people around the campus today who were having a good time, maybe not at the ball game, but they have been all weekend, and Rob Lear has been checking in on that. It was homecoming, and right up through last night he was there. Here's his report.
There are homecomings, and then there are homecoming celebrations. A traditional fall gathering of alumni and fans on a college campus can range from parades and parties to the involvement of bands, cheerleaders, and the entire community. Homecoming 1980 under the banner Wish Again Michigan at Minnesota was set aside for one of those week-long celebrations. The campus started to take shape as early as last Monday, when fraternities and sororities started to line University Avenue with their prepared mascots for Saturday's meeting of the Little Brown Jug. The sights and sounds started to shine brighter last Friday evening with the annual Homecoming Torchlight Parade. Here the streets became filled with floats, freeloaders, and even celebrities like former graduate Dave Winfield. Fueled by fire, it's now off to the bonfire, where under the glow of the flames, the enthusiasm keeps on burning. The following day, Minnesota's blasting brass marches down University Avenue, picking up the beat right where they left it off the night before. Despite the score, following football, there was still hope. Bob Hope appearing at Northrop Auditorium for the benefit of the Dave Winfield Fund.
I love the game today, Minnesota lost, I know you didn't like it, but it was a hell of a game, and they're tough. I know how it is because the Rams didn't play this well all the time, and I've been one of my great tax deductions for years. Because I owned the Chiefs up for a while, and it'll get better. You've had some great teams. I've been watching Minnesota teams for the last 40 years, and they come up. I was ready to shoot up today, in fact, And I used to play. I was the center, but I had to quit. I was too ticklish. And our quarterback was calling sanitary. Always using my towel. I hate that, don't you?
For all those that came back to take part in Homecoming 1980 at the University of Minnesota, turned out to be a real success, especially for all the alumni who were able to return and reminisce about the memories. Now they'll be able to come back next year with even more memories, because after all, isn't that what homecoming is all about? Rob Lear for Channel 5 Sports.
Well, that's what it's all about, and we're going to talk about what's going to go on next week, because Iowa will be here. We'll do that right after this.
Midwest Federal has always been my friend for saving, but I recently learned about their personal advisory services, available at every Midwest office. PAS advisors have information and booklets to help you organize your financial affairs, make career or retirement decisions, or to help you claim survivorship benefits. These services are free, and you don't have to be a Midwest customer. It's nice to have a friend like Midwest Federal.
It takes a special talent to put something all together and get it just right. And that's what Old Milwaukee did. We got the taste of light beer right. We gave Old Milwaukee Light the real beer taste you've been missing in other lights and kept it less filling. So now you can have your light beer and taste it too.
We got it right. Old Milwaukee got light right.
When we say the Eyewitness News team is down to earth, up to the minute, we're talking about people like our own Dennis Feltgen.
Hey, Dennis, what's happening? Nothing yet, but soon.
Nobody knows the weather better than this knowledgeable meteorologist, and his forecasts are as clear as they are accurate.
Right on time.
And his timing is pretty good, too. Dennis Feltgen, part of the Eyewitness News team on Channel 5.
Hi, I'm Timothy D. Kerr,
Join me Friday, October 24th at 12:10 a.m. when Abbott and Costello meet the Invisible Man, and Chills and Chuckles will play leapfrog up and down your spine. That's Friday, October 24th at 12:10 a.m. when Abbott and Costello meet the Invisible Man here on Channel 5.
Well, Joe Hayden Fry and his Iowa Hawkeyes will be goose-stepping into Memorial Stadium next Saturday, and I guess they've got some people.
Oh, they do. They had a fine football team, and again, this is Jeff Brown, number 27. He's been a player until this week. Has started for him. He's the leading rusher in the Big Ten, but has been benched because of some fumbles he had against Illinois a week ago. He, again, is not very big, 160 pounds, but he does have good speed and good quickness. You see him here against the University of Indiana making a couple of fine runs.
Reminds me a little of Rick Upchurch. He runs that same one.
Let's hope he doesn't remind us too much of Rick Upchurch. Okay, again, their fullback, Dean McKillop, and he hardly carries the football, but they do use him for inside work a little bit. Generally, he does the blocking for the I-back in their offense. Again, this is Phil Seuss throwing to Keith Chappelle, and Keith is really a fine football player. He's out of California, and he's their leading receiver at this time. He's caught 12 passes for 191 yards last week in itself, and really had a fine day against the University of Illinois, even though they lost. This little razzle-dazzle here by Hayden Fry and company. And they hit Doug Dunham in the end zone for a touchdown. The defense is really the strength of their football team. They have not scored a lot of points this year. They've been able to hold teams down fairly well, but they got a lot of defensive players back, and they're really a hard-nosed group. And this is an interception that they got against Indiana University again. And they made a fine return on by Jim Frazier.
Joe, I think before the Northwestern game, they'd lost some games, but 3 of them by only 11 points. I mean, they've got to be a pretty good team.
Well, they are. They're a good team. I think before the season started, they had ideas of going to a bowl game and a lot of things. And then Nebraska blew them out 57-0. They haven't really recovered from that. And yesterday, they were able to beat Northwestern 25-3, but they still had like 560 yards. So they're tough, but hey, you always got to get ready for the Hawks.
Well, we'll be back and take a look at them next week on the Joe Salem Show.
This has been the Joe Salem Show with Minnesota Golden Gopher head coach Joe Salem and KSTP sportscaster Ed Cairo. The Joe Salem Show has been brought to you by Midwest Federal, with offices to serve you throughout the metropolitan area. Midwest Federal, at the sign of the good tree to come to for shelter. This has been a pre-recorded presentation of KSTP Sports.
Hello. Join us Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock for Open Forum. I'm Henry Wolf and I'm your host. We'll discuss the anguish of the transsexuals, health foods,